What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another P4W video. It's myself, Seko, and today I am going to be giving you my predictions for the WWE 2018 Survivor Series pay-per-view. Now, as you know, every year Raw and Smackdown will compete against each other to see who the better brand is. I'm Team Blue. I know a couple of people that are Team Red, so let's hope that Smackdown are victorious just so I can gloat that little bit more. As always, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the rundown of the matches. After that, I'll give you my predictions and who I think is going to win. Starting off, we've got the Tag Team Survivor Series elimination match with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable and the Ascension, Lucha House Party and the B Team and the Revival on the Raw team versus the Usos, the New Day, the Good Brothers, Sanity and the Colons. Now, I understand that they're trying to make all the matches Survivor Series, but honestly, this is one of the most unnecessary matches on the card. There's too many people in a match. People are going to get lost in what's going on. I feel like the only reason they've done this was just to add another Raw vs Smackdown, which they already have later on with the Bar vs AOP. I feel like this match was just another way to add more people to the card. In my opinion, it's very meaningless. Obviously, I want Smackdown to win. As I said, I'm Team Blue. I want Smackdown to win, but I have a feeling that Raw are going to dominate this whole match, and I feel like a rivalry with Sanity is going to cause Smackdown to lose. That's my opinion. So I am going with Team Raw. Straight after, as I just mentioned, we've got the Tag Team Champions facing off, which are the Author of Pain for Raw and the Bar for Smackdown. Now, it makes sense for the AOP to go over, given that they've only just won their Tag Team Championships. It would have been interesting to see if Seth Rollins actually kept the Tag Team titles on Raw, to see him face against the Bar and then again on the same night face Shinsuke Nakamura. However, that didn't happen, so we've now been given the opportunity to see AOP versus the Bar. It makes sense for AOP to win this, as I said, but I feel like the Bar are going to get a sneaky win with the help of Big Show. Because, I mean, let's face it, AOP have Drake Maverick, and comparisons to Big Show, well, you can see by the size. So, yeah, my picks are the Bar. We have the Cruiserweight Championship match, Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Now, I really enjoyed 205 Live. If you go onto passionforwrestling.com, you'll see that I do write-ups, which will be starting again. So I did start writing consistently about 205 Live and the fact that I feel it needs a bigger push. It's slowly starting to get attention, and that's because of the guys working their asses off week in and week out to put on a strong show, which I really enjoy, and I know other people are now starting to enjoy. The match itself will be interesting. Buddy Murphy's only recently just won the title a couple of months ago. With Ali, I don't think he's just there yet. That's my opinion. So I am going to go with Buddy Murphy retaining. However, it'd be great to see Mustafa Ali win just to continue this feud and this rivalry. But the thing is, I don't want the title to become lost in the shuffle and then just become like weak. So I don't want him to hot potato the title. But I feel like if Ali was to win, this would be a great way to build their feud again and just push them both up, as well as elevating the title. I'm going to go for Buddy Murphy, but I would like to see Ali win as well. So either way, I'm happy, but I think Buddy Murphy will retain. Next, we've got the Men's Survivor Series elimination match, which is Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor and Bobby Lashley on Team Raw versus The Miz, Shane McMahon, Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy. Now, the reason Jeff Hardy is now in is because Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship on Smackdown last week, which was very shocking. I don't think anyone suspected it to come. Everyone thought AJ Styles was going to break CM Punk's record. However, that didn't happen. And Bryan's now heel, which is interesting, given the fact that I thought he was going to be a babyface that they wanted to push on SmackDown. I thought AJ was going to be the one to turn heel. Which is great, though, because we get to see a heel Bryan, and we get to keep a face AJ Styles, which I love to see. So it's going to be interesting what's going on with them two in their feud. However, back to the event itself, Survivor Series elimination. I think there's too much going on between Strowman and Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley and Balor for them to be able to work as a unit throughout the match. Purely for that reason, I think 100% SmackDown are going to win, and I think they're going to win by about 2 or 3 guys up. I think SmackDown's guys, I think the last person standing again will probably be Dolph Ziggler. I'll be shocked if it isn't Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. If Raw win, Drew McIntyre is going to be their winner. But I definitely want SmackDown to win, and I would like to see the Miz be the guy to get the final victory pin. purely because of what's happened between him and Daniel Bryan. I think this is a way for Miz to really shove it in the face of Bryan that he's strong enough to become a champion. So yeah, my pick for that is SmackDown. In the Women's Survivor Series elimination match, we've got Natalya, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina Snuka and Ruby Riott on Raw versus Carmella, Naomi, Asuka, Sonya Deville, and to be determined. There's not a definitive answer who this fifth woman is. Basically because if you tuned into Raw last week, Becky Lynch, she got a hefty punch off a reckless Nia Jax, in my opinion, and she basically got from what I've read, it's a broken nose and a concussion, which means Charlotte is now facing Ronda Rousey. If you tuned into SmackDown, Charlotte was picked by Becky Lynch to face Ronda Rousey. So now that means Charlotte is out of the women's elimination match. So we now have a TBD, and we actually don't know who's going to fill that position. Guest wise, honestly, I have no idea. However, it'd be interesting to see who they pick out. I really don't know, but I think overall, I believe Raw could win this. I think the Raw women's team, for some reason, they're more with Tamina and Nia Jax on the same side. Mickie James also on the same side with Ruby Riott and stuff. All of that. Basically, we've got 4 heels and 1 face on the Raw team. So I honestly believe that Raw could win this for the women. Then we've got the mid-card championships. We've got Seth Rollins versus on Raw. Seth Rollins with the IC title versus Shinsuke Nakamura, who had the SmackDown title. In my opinion, both guys have done nothing for them titles. Honestly, I just feel like they've made the titles irrelevant. They haven't done nothing with them. Nakamura's been in really bad booking. Seth Rollins, obviously, he was with the Shield, and now he's on a feud with Dean Ambrose that hasn't taken off. It's ridiculous how they have 2 of the mid-card titles. Other people could have them and elevate them like other superstars have, yet leaving the titles on these 2 guys, and their bookings are all over the place. But the thing is as well, this is a match that people would like to see because it's the first time ever. I really don't know. Do you know what? I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to win, but with the help of Dean Ambrose, I feel like Ambrose will come out and cost Seth Rollins the match. That is the only way to really keep the feud of Ambrose and Seth alive, kind of thing. Because at the moment, Dean isn't saying anything about why he attacked Seth and turned his back on him. This could really start to push Seth over the edge. And this also gives Ambrose the heat that he needs to be an overhill. So, I reckon Nakamura's going to win with the help of Ambrose. Now, we've got Ronda Rousey, Raw Women's Championship versus Charlotte Flair, representing SmackDown's women without the championship. As I said, Becky Lynch has got a broken face due to the hands of Nia Jax being ruthless. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Charlotte wins, then she does justice for Becky and she'll go back to SmackDown bragging that she beat Ronda, which could feud Becky and Charlotte again. At the same time, I feel like if they don't book Ronda to win, then this whole push has been useless. Because originally, this was going to be what rumoured to be a WrestleMania main event. And we're getting it early at Survivor Series. So I really don't know which way this is going to go. I would like to see Charlotte win for SmackDown, but I do believe that Ronda Rousey is going to win overall. And I feel like it's going to be a bit of a dodgy finish. I don't know. I feel like maybe one of the women from the 4 women's of NXT may come in to help. Maybe this could build up with... Maybe that happens and then it builds up with Becky and Charlotte kind of building a bridge for them to face off against them in the future. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just obviously I'm just spitballing, but it's a possible idea. I think that could be a strong way to make Ronda win as well, given the fact that happened with Shayna in Evolution. That's how she won her title back. So maybe Shayna is there and she could help Ronda. It's a possibility. So I'm going to say Ronda, but it's going to be a dodgy finish. And finally, we've got the heavyweight champions Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. Brock obviously being the Universal Champion, and Daniel Bryan being the newly crowned SmackDown's WWE Champion. Now, I was hoping for a Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles Part 2. I feel they put on a great match last year. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that again because of Bryan. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I feel like it's going to be one of the first times that I'm actually rooting for Brock Lesnar to win. I'm not a big fan of Brock. I don't like the fact that he just comes in, does what he wants to do, and then goes. However, I feel like I get the opportunity to watch Brock throw Daniel Bryan around for 15 minutes, 15 or 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how long they're given, which I'm more than happy to see. You know, obviously we don't want it to end Daniel Bryan's career again and put him in danger. But if Bryan's the heel, Brock is going to be all over him. And in theory, if Bryan's the heel, Brock is kind of the face in this match, given the circumstances of what's going on. You know, so, because I don't think Brock has really done anything heelish. I mean, he wasn't the one that attacked Braun at Crown Jewel. It was Baron Corbin. So Brock hasn't really done anything wrong other than win the match and retain the title, in my opinion. So I can see Brock, if Daniel Bryan wins this, I'm going to be very, very shocked as to why. And I'm going to have a lot of questions of why did they allow that, but they didn't allow Braun Strowman to win in a Crown Jewel. On that alone, I'm going to say Brock Lesnar's going to win. If Daniel Bryan does win, that's a great victory for him. I could say that's probably one of the biggest victories in his career. But I don't know. It's a long shot for Bryan winning, to be honest. So yeah, I'm picking Raw. And just about speaking, I've realised I've picked the majority of Raw to win. Like, I feel like 80% or 70% of my picks have actually been Raw. And I haven't written these down, so these are just going off the cuff from what I've read. Overall, I think Raw's going to win the amount of matches that are won. But then, is that how it counts now? Does it count as the most amount of wins throughout the night from each brand is the winner, or does it matter about the 5-man Survivor Series match, which should be the main event? Because if that's the case, Smackdown will win. But like, from my opinion, Smackdown will win, because I predicted Smackdown to win. But if it's the amount of matches over the night, then Raw are gonna win. So hit me in the comments and let me know what you think it is, or how the scoring should be. Should it be each match, or should it be just the final match, and the rest are basically just ways to gloat that Raw beat Smackdown and Smackdown beat Raw in these sort of matches? If you do agree or disagree with anything that I've said, hit me in the comments, give a like and subscribe. As always, if you want to follow us on Facebook, go to P4 Wrestling. If you want to go on Twitter, that's also P4 Wrestling. If you go to Instagram, that's P4 Wrestling. And on the YouTube, you probably guessed it, it's P4 Wrestling. So it's very easy. It's P, the number 4, and then the word wrestling. And if you really are interested in all things that we're talking about wrestling based, go over to our website, which is www.passion4wrestling.com. Read the articles, join the prediction league, and get involved. So that's my predictions. Like I said, if you disagree or agree, then leave them in the comments. If you've got any questions about Passion for Wrestling or my predictions, obviously whack them in the comments, and then we'll try and reply to them ASAP. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on all our social media accounts, check the website out, and if you want to hear from me again, tune back in a couple of days when you'll be hearing my review of NXT and the Survivor Series 2018. Until then, peace!